friends, and welcome to another monthly manga reads. Today I am going to be talking about all of the manga that I read in March 2025. If this is your first time here for one of these videos, know that all of the books that I talk about, I will not be talking about spoilers, just my general thoughts of what I thought about them, a quick synopsis, things like that. Also know that by the time this video drops, I will actually be in vacation on my trip to Japan. And so just know that all of the books that I read in March, I have been slowing down a bit, not reading as much as I would have hoped, just because I have been doing lots of planning for this trip to Japan. But starting with the first book that I read in March, it was none other than Vinland Saga, book number 8 by Makoto Yukimura. If you don't know by now, I've been absolutely obsessed with Vinland Saga, and I've been talking about this manga and just the general story as a whole for a while now. If you've been following these videos, you'll know that I've actually been running through all of these books kind of as fast as I can while still enjoying them, because I really wanted to finish before my trip to Japan, and I'm so close to doing so. I'm just gonna be so real right now. This video is gonna be so different than my other monthly manga reads because literally all the manga I read this month was Vinland Saga. So here we have book 9, here we have book 10, and here we have book 11. So to make my life easier and to make this video flow a bit more, I'm just gonna talk about all of these kind of as a general whole instead of individually, because I don't think you want me to repeat myself like 4 times for every one of these manga. I'm also gonna put them down because those manga are so heavy, and also a reminder that these English versions are actually 2 manga in 1. So in Japan, they look more like the iconic, just normal manga that we're all used to, but in America, the way that they've been translated and published out to the world, there are these thick, enormous hardcover books that are actually 2 manga in 1. So it's kind of like I read 8 manga this month instead of 4. If you don't know anything about Vinland Saga, let me fill you in. As of right now, there are currently 2 seasons out. We had season 1 a couple years ago, and then season 2, I think actually last year. And so all of these books that I'm currently reading are an extension of the anime that hasn't been animated yet. And so we're hoping to get them, of course, in the future as soon as possible because they are amazing. But because of that reason, I'm not going to be talking about spoilers, obviously, because I figure most people have not read these manga. The Vinland Saga as a whole, the storyline is so vast and so detailed, and it seems like each season is just completely different yet following the same kind of cast of characters. But let me fill you in on a little synopsis from what you should know before starting. Basically, we have our main character, and his name is Thorfinn, and his father has been killed by a Viking. Now, because of this, of course, Thorfinn wants to get revenge on that Viking who killed his father. And that's really all you should know going into the story. There's so much more, and there's little surprises and things along the road that are just fun to pick up on and to see the bigger picture and theme of the story the more you get more in depth within it. I will say that these manga, in my opinion, are very special because the author is just such a fan of his own work. I can tell how much he is just in love with this whole storyline and the cast of characters. And throughout all of these manga, he has an author's note in the middle of the book and then at the end of the book where he's actually answering questions from fans and talking through interviews and other fun things like that. Sometimes there's pictures of the author at the book when he's cosplayed characters from Vinland Saga or being in an interview. Anyway, he is just such a big fan of his own story, and I love that for him, and it just makes the reading experience so much more enriching in my opinion. If you are a Vinland Saga fan but have not read the manga and want to know which manga are gonna be covered in season 3, of course that's not information that we know yet, but know that there is lots to come. These books that I read, honestly, I have no idea how they're gonna break this up for the future because there's a small arc and then there's a really long arc and then there's another small arc. And my mind is just like, oh my gosh, Vinland Saga is only animated about halfway through the story, and there's still like half more left to be animated from what's in the manga, but it's split up so differently than what we've seen so far, which makes me even more curious to see what season 3 is going to be like in the future, which is hopefully going to be soon. I'm crossing my fingers it's within hopefully the next year. That is really gonna wrap it up for the manga that I read in March. Again, I just don't want to go too much in depth on these books in particular because this is huge spoiler territory and I don't want to spoil anyone out there, but I still wanted to share what manga I was reading throughout the month of March. What I'll talk about now are kind of some of my manga reading goals for the future. Of course, I really want to finish reading Vinland Saga. Currently, I have, I think, 3 or 4 manga left to read, which is such a crazy thought to me because I've been attached to the story for almost half a year now, obsessing over it more and more, I feel like, with each manga I read and the further I get within this story. I don't want it to end, but there's a part of me that also really does not want to get spoiled on like social media from people who have read the whole manga series. And here in America, I believe the final manga comes out this May, and that actually finishes the Vinland Saga series from what I've done through research online. And so I will be finishing up this series soon. But other than Vinland Saga, as I've said in the past, I really want to get through Hunter x Hunter, the books particularly that are not animated yet. I believe there's around 7 to 8-ish that have not been animated, and I'm very curious to read those. Also, before the new Demon Slayer Infinity Castle movie comes out in a few months, I also really want to reread the Infinity Castle arc. Those are probably the 3 main series that I'm trying to get through as of now. There's a couple other smaller things here and there, and maybe I'll find some in Japan along my trip. But as for now, those are the manga that I read in the month of March 2025. I would love to hear from you in the comments down below. What manga did you read this March? And if you have read these Vinland Saga books without saying any spoilers because we don't want to spoil anybody, let me know your kind of thoughts down there. As always, I hope you have an amazing day and I will see you soon for more fandom fun content. Bye!